I honestly think a lot of self-improvement advice is the reason why ambitious people feel stuck. Not because self-improvement is bad, but instead it's because a lot of advice that people follow only works when life is going well. When real life inevitably happens and it stops working, people don't blame their advice, they blame themselves. And I think that's what quietly messes people up. You know that Sunday night when you decide your whole life is changing? You sit there thinking, nah, I can't keep doing this. This time I'm serious. And then for a little moment, it actually feels real. Then by Wednesday, you've slept badly, missed a workout, and now somehow the whole thing's finished. And every time that happened to me, I thought I was the problem. But looking back, I honestly think a lot of the problem lied in the advice itself. It made consistency always look clean and perfect, when in real life it's a bit awkward, boring, and just messy. So in this video, I'm going to look at 4 bits of self-improvement advice that sound really good on the surface, but actually keep people stuck. This first one sounds harmless, but I think it does a lot of damage. Because what it really teaches you is to wait. And as you know, the right time never actually comes. Or if it does, it comes for like a few hours on Sunday night and then disappears completely by Tuesday. You know, there's always that guy who's saying he's starting soon. Sunday night, he's dangerous. New playlist, new plan, new personality. Then 2 days later, he's completely gone. But most useful things in life don't start with motivation. And this is gonna sound backwards, but it actually starts when you can't be bothered, but you actually do it anyway. So motivation is nice when it shows up, but it's not reliable. Some days you're on it, some days you feel flat. I've had bare evenings where I thought, I'm not going gym, no chance. And weirdly, those are the moments that matter the most. Not because I have an amazing session after that, but the real point is I didn't let that one lazy day turn into 3, 4, 5 lazy days. Because you could be on it for a month and then one day comes and you might just fall off it. You need to catch yourself and pick yourself back up before a bad evening turns into a bad week. This one gets loads of people because it feels true. And to be fair, routines do help. In my opinion, what you see on YouTube and what you see on social media is all performative. You're gonna wake up early, drink water, meditate, journal, cold shower, read, train, eat. And it feels like this is the version of you that finally stops messing about. And when there's that one day that fucks you all up, you're finished. Sometimes you just have a weird morning, something happens and it just never really settles. And then because you can't do that perfect morning routine that you set out for yourself every day, you do none of it. And that's why I know a lot of these routines were never built for real life, because it falls apart the second life gets a bit inconvenient. It's giving you the feeling of discipline before you've actually built any. The best routine is the one that works when you're tired, stressed, late, or just a bit off. That's the real test. Can it survive normal life? This one wastes so much time, because what usually happens is not that deep. You're doing alright, then one day goes a bit left, but instead of fixing it, the next day we turn it into something massive. Then Saturday becomes some weird, lazy limbo. You're doing nothing. And then Sunday night, you give yourself a little pep talk and you try to talk yourself back into something. Oh man, that's literally been me the last few years. I promise you. And when I think about it now, the original problem was so small. It's not the slip up itself. It's the story you attach to it after. Because when you start attaching a narrative to it, it stops becoming, oh, I just had a bad bit of the day or a bad spell. And it starts becoming, why am I always like this? Why can't I stay consistent? What's wrong with me? You start, escalating it. Now it feels like evidence. Evidence that you can't trust yourself. After enough restarts, you stop just feeling frustrated. You start feeling embarrassed. And that is a horrible feeling. That is why I think the most important skill in all of this is being able to recover quickly. Because the people who improve the fastest, they're the ones who just don't drag the mistakes out. They learn from it, they pick themselves back up, and they go again the next day. A bad day can just be a bad day. Not proof you're a failure, just a bad day. This one is everywhere online. I see it every time I'm on my phone. People act like the more painful a plan is, the more serious it must be. I'll be honest, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Look, obviously, improving yourself is going to be uncomfortable sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But discomfort and discipline are not the same thing. And I think a lot of people mix those two up. And then they get into the mindset that everything has to be intense. Everything becomes a test of whether you're serious enough. And from the outside, I probably look disciplined and locked in. But on the inside, I'm annoyed all the time. Everything becomes a constant measurement of whether you're doing enough. It starts feeling like this pressure that you're putting on yourself to become better. That's why I think good discipline makes life feel simpler. Not easier, I'm saying simpler. This is where people get a little bit confused with everything. Or best split, best supplements, best routine, best app. Meanwhile, their basics are still all over the place. And the maddest part is when I'm sitting on the sofa watching YouTube videos on the TV, it feels mad productive. But really, it's late, you're tired, and you're on your fourth video about discipline. And the most disciplined thing you could do is put your phone away and go to sleep. It's basic, but basic does the job. The issue is basic things only work if you keep repeating them. And repetition is the part people keep trying to skip. So yeah, I think a lot of that self-improvement advice you hear keeps us normal people stuck. Real life gets messy, and I think a lot of you need to actually just hear that. And if you live that way too long, it starts damaging how you see yourself. You start thinking, maybe this is just who I am. I believe that most of us don't need more intensity in our lives. So basically, do the basics, keep doing them. When you slip, don't turn it into a whole story about yourself. And stop treating every off day like it's proof you failed. Because if habits only work when life is perfect, they're not habits and they don't really work. This is the advice that will help you run a better life. Love and guidance. Thanks for watching.